Welcome to the Osirian, above the Newer Star Island, in the virtual world of Second Life. Initially, I had only planned to do one informational video in regard to the Osiris staffs and then go on to the activational. But after I'd made both, some other information came to my attention that I really wanted to share with you. It is about the Djed. That is an Egyptian symbol. And I knew about this symbol, but I didn't know all this information. So here's the Djed pillar. This is how it looks in a construction of a temple. You can see that. And then as a singular object, here's another one. A very interesting thing. In fact, you could even call it a staff or a rod. From two different sources, the Djed came forward. And one was through Michael Henry Dunn's information that he collected and posted on Facebook. And then I reposted it on my Templar Priory of the White Stone site. And it has to do with the connection between the ancient Egyptian Djed, a warrior priest group of Egyptians. And I don't know how much the warrior stands in place. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's certainly, they were considered knights of the realm in a way. The connection between them, and they were, from their history, was fashioned the Jedi of Star Wars. And then the Templars received their knowledge, wisdom, and much of their authentication, shall we say, from the Egyptian Djed, which I found very interesting. The other source came when I was receiving the images from the Thothic Akasha concerning Saint Germain. This came about in my Akashic research about the generation fields created through cyber currency, especially Bitcoin, on the internet. And that's my new Bitcoin site. It has these videos and all of this, and I'm very excited about all of that because I feel it opens up a tremendous door, not only for monetary abundance, which we all very much need right now to free us so that we can focus on our spiritual work more profoundly, but also on other levels as well. But that's another topic. However, it brought me to some other information because I saw Saint Germain's hand holding a coin that was attached to his vest, and he was flashing it from one side to the other. And I knew he often did this. He wore this coin that he had especially minted, and I believe it was made of alchemical gold. And when people saw him kind of fiddling with that coin, they just thought it was a nervous habit, and they'd say, well, what's that about? And they'd say, oh, this is just my lucky piece or whatever, you know. But it was far more than that. And I won't go into that story either. I talked about it a little bit on the video that I made on my Bitcoin site. Anyway, on one side of the coin was a stylized version of the 7 rivers of Eden. On the other side of the coin were 2 pillars or pylons with an egg-shaped thing in the center, and this was intended to represent the Benben stone, the egg between the 2 pillars of light of the Benben. And from the Benben stone comes the Bennu, which is the original phoenix arising from the ashes and then coming back to plant its egg to start all over again. So the pillars were, according to legend, he landed on a pillar to do all of this, or she did, I guess. She's laying eggs. So the Djed, then, the symbol that I just showed you, is considered that pillar, or representing that pillar, or associated with that pillar in some way. It's kind of all linked together. So that brought me to reading about the Djed again. You see, it came up the second time. And I began to see how it correlated with the Staffs of Osiris, from the cosmic Staffs of Osiris, these energetic fields that come out of the correlations of the solar crosses in the heavens. And also it correlated with this new, not new, but new to me, matrix or grid, I should say, that I really haven't found a true name for yet. For some strange reason, I usually have no trouble coming up with the name. It just flashes into my head, and that's the name I use. But this time, I just can't seem to get it. So I don't know why that is. But anyway, I'm going to call it the Bennu grid right now. We'll just call it the Bennu grid. And this particular grid is fashioned from these whirls or spirals of energy that come straight out of the central sun of the earth, out of the ground, wherever these locations are. There are many locations where they come out, and then they're connected into the solar sun. And I realized that after I'd been receiving about this grid for some time, and then when I reopened the Osiris Staffs material, I realized very strongly that the cosmic Osirian staffs are operating through these funnels, towers, pillars, pylons of light. And so that connected then to this grid that I've been studying. And so I came across this really interesting material. These are different quotes on one website from different sources. So I did read a little bit of this on my video one of the videos I've made recently for the Bitcoin site, but I'm going into it deeper here. So here we go. As she says, wait a minute, oops, I got the wrong page first. Let me start over here. The word wizard comes from those who held the staff of power, which was called the Wasar. Osiris was the life force within creation. His backbone, the Djed, or Djed, hence the force of the Jedi Knights of Star Wars. Osiris was called Astir, as well as Wasir. The Wasir staffs were electrical conductors of power, hence the wizards were Wasirs, or Osirises, using Wasir wands for their hex, or hexagon, in Egyptian Heku. Now, these electrical conductors of power I received were certainly devices, and you can see it. The Djed is you can see it in that. But they were conducting the energy of the true cosmic, what we're calling Osirian staffs, coming out of the solar crosses. So they were conductors of that energy. However, I'm also receiving, not just anybody could hold one of these things and make it work properly. It would have to be someone whose field or electromagnetic field was conducive to it. Otherwise, you might die if you touched one of them. I'm not exactly sure, but it would have to be someone who could resonate with that field. The purpose of the ritual was to, I'm reading again, the purpose of the ritual was to preserve order and repel chaos. In order to do this, there first had to be an effort to raise this awareness, or Djed. Those that did this were known as Djed. Here we have the Knights of the Djed. So they raised this in their spine, their kundalini, and this would match the frequency of the wand they held, the staff they held. Archetypal symbols such as the circle, the spiral, trees, and a pillar or pole were magically and ritually employed to preserve essential order. These symbols all have a connection to the sun and worship of the sun. Well, of course, the connection to the sun, we have the solar crosses, from which the Osirian staffs of the cosmos are formed. Their energetic field comes out of that and also balances it. Historically, the Djed was raised at crucial transitional times between cycles, evoking light and stability to dispel darkness and disorder. Such periods were the winter solstices, the failing years of a reigning monarch, or the coronation of a new one. A tower or an obelisk that is symbolic of the connection and balance of all things in heaven and in earth now represents the Djed. We see this symbol all over the world as secret societies have used it as a backdrop for their empires. Osiris was called Osir, as well as Wasir. The Wasir staffs were electrical conductors of power, hence the wizards were Wasirs or Osirises using wands for their hexagon. Well, this is the same material I read you before, but it's been repeated on the page, so I'm reading it again. So there is a very ancient lineage of traditions that have their mysteries imparted on August the 12th and the 13th. It is said that the Djed, the rod of power, which is the reference for the Jedi, this symbol, I'm sorry, I misread that. Let me read it again. It is the Djed, the rod of power, which is the reference for the D-Jedi. This energy symbol was built into the pyramid of Cheops, Khufu, by Thoth and his co-workers. The top part, 5 arrowed ceilings, is manifest in the king's chamber. The Sphinx was the responsibility of Harankaris. The Djed rod of power is actually the vine or cord to the divine. Now, when I first read this, and I put this little bit on that other video I was talking about, I said, oh, I think that's my material somewhere off the web, because a lot of people grab my stuff and post it on their sites, and a lot of times they don't give me credit for it. But I was mistaken. This is not my material, because it does say some things that I've not written about, but there were key things in there. When I first read it, it kind of flashed as that. So I'm just making a correction. Originally, the Djed represented Netjer, Ta, who was called Noble Djed. But later on, it came to represent Netjer Asir. Djed pillars were painted along the bottom of the coffin to symbolize becoming Asir or Osiris in the afterlife, and associated the deceased with the royal house of Kem or Kemet. Osiris was known as the Djed. The Djed were called the stable ones, who were entered into the order. They are the wisdom keepers, being the physical representation of Osiris on earth. The Djed came forth during the changing of the cycles, sun cycle, moon cycle, in means to stabilize a chaotic planet and set everything in order before the coming or with the coming of the new age. As the celestial Asir or Osiris resurrects, so must the physical Djed come forth to be, and it also has in parentheses next to Djed, Osirites, the Osirianites. So that's interesting, because I think I've heard that before, that Osirite. Anyway, this part here about stabilizing a chaotic planet and set everything to order before the coming or with the coming of the new age. In this sense, I'm receiving that the new age is not meaning the age of Aquarius. This is meaning the new Earth star. And everything must be set into order before then. Now, what I received concerning this, as I've been given in the past, this pyramidus radius matrix, which is encompassing all the programs, all the light programs, all the grids, everything. And all of this is being drawn into this greater dome of power, this pyramidus radius matrix, that is being generated first by the threefold pyramids, as given the one under the White Pyramid of China, the Bosnian Pyramid, and the one in the labyrinth of under the Lake Meoris. And it's not actually a pyramid under there, but it's an energetic, creates an energetic pyramid. So those are the three that maintain the radius. But within that are the 144 pyramids, other pyramids that hold the outer focus or create the stability. And then from that come other pyramids and other sacred sites like Stonehenge, other, not just pyramids, they form a pyramidic energy in various ways. So I'm receiving that this grid that I'm picking up on, that I'm calling the Bennu grid, with its spiral-like towers of light, of energy coming out of it and connecting the central sun of the planet with the solar sun of the solar system and on. These are stabilizing forces. They are the cosmic Osirian staffs coming, out of the configuration of the star crosses, and they are holding the energy of the star crosses in the planet, so that the whole planet won't just fall apart with all the energies that are going on. They're going to be, because this planet is going to be infused with megatons of energy. Energy is the only word I know to call it, as it goes through the process. And we have a very unstable reality here because we have all this, other stuff going on, this archonic stuff. So with all of this happening, it's imperative that this Bennu grid hold its frequency to some extent, enough so that we can do what we need to do within the pyramidus radius, which is our platform for us to receive, learn, and adjust so that we can move through the portal into the New Earth star at light principle 40. So this is key. This shows how important the staffs of Osiris are, the cosmic ones. To continue reading, consider the tale first written down in the 7th century dynasty from a Middle Kingdom version of a 4th dynasty original of Prince Radijef, the Djed, and King Khufu. Now remember, Khufu didn't really build them pyramids. He was the one that put his name on them, Leroy was here. Okay. The king and his 4 sons are relaxing at the palace, telling stories of famous magicians. Radijef tops them all by announcing that he knows of a living magician equal to those of the past. Khufu is interested. Yeah, good old Khufu, he wants to steal everything. And Radijef tells him of the Djed, or stable one, who is apparently ageless and knows many things, including the shrines of the secret chambers of the enclosure of Tehute. Well, Tehute is Thoth. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm just 98% sure, 95% sure maybe, that Thoth gave me some information on these secret chambers, or mentioned them in some way years ago, and I wrote it down somewhere, and I don't think it even made it into a publication. I'm not sure, so I can't find it. So I can't prove that at all, but I think that he did. And so coming up again, it really kind of excites me because I like to see corollaries like that. Okay, so it says Osiris, Djed, was a title of Osiris as the Great One and Lord of the Universe, the universal, self-generating life principle of the center, i.e. the transcendent self. The Djed were the stable ones, wisdom keepers of one mind and one spirit, who as initiates of the Osirian mysteries comprised the living terrestrial body of the archetypal celestial Osiris. Contemporary Djed are self-selected regenerators of cosmos. They are those who, regardless of race, creed, or awareness, are awakening to mission. Let me read that again. I need to do that again. Okay, here we go. Contemporary Djed are self-selecting regenerators of the cosmos. They are those who, regardless of race or creed, are awakening to mission in service to the planet and the epical imperatives of stability, continuity, and regeneration. That part right there is so powerful. Every time I read it, my little eyeballs nearly go around in circles. I mean, it is so powerful. It is the key to our transformation. Can we all be Djed? Well, it's not a matter of poof, we're all Djed. There are Djeds and there are Djeds. So what I'm receiving is it's a path. And there are Djeds who have reached the pinnacle of that path as far as they can go in this world spectrum. And they're really something else. And then there are us. We could, we're little starlings. We're little baby birdies on the limb, and we're going, Djed. And so, we want to reach that threshold, and we have the potential to do so, of course. And even if we don't make it all the way in this whole situation, that's okay. But I feel that we have the ability is right here upon us. And many of us are on that path already, and we don't even know it. I feel like I'm going to be opening that door for myself and for others in some way. Not that you have to have my door to go through. You can go through your own. But the point is, anyone who has information or a way to help others to receive the transmissions, that's a good thing, right? So if I can do that, I will. But the point is, it's here for all of us. Osiris Djed was a title of Osiris as the Great One, Lord of the Universe, universal self-generating, well, I read this, but I'm reading it again. Life principle of the center, the transcendent self. The Djed were the stable ones, wisdom keepers of one mind and one spirit, who, as initiates of the Osirian mysteries, comprising the living terrestrial body of the archetype celestial Osiris. And as you all know, or most of you anyway, I was given the Osiris Arising project about 3 years ago now, and that's when the white beam crystal skull came to me, and everything started happening. So I feel that it's on another level now. It's opening up to the next level of what this Osiris Arising project is really all about. And it's receiving and working with the Osirian cosmic staffs, and ultimately, of course, the stellar crosses, and how we are going to be using the Earth grid of what I'm calling right now the Bennu, to be able to focus and activate this within our own spinal columns, our own Djed, and receive at least some degree of initiation into the Djed. So let's see where we stand here. Just a moment. So now I'm going to read you just a little bit from issue 390 of my publication Temple Doors, which portal members, of course, can find in the Vault of Osiris section of the portal. So here we go. On the night of September 24th, 1990, led by Anubis, who is an aspect of Thoth, I completed the driving of the Staff of Osiris into the Iraqi earth. I then saw a small black statue of a bull lion sitting on a table in which I felt to be in Saddam Hussein's home crack in two pieces. This reminded me of when we worked with the disempowering of Noriega, and I saw a dead tree split in two. Hours later, Noriega surrendered to the embassy. Both these men, so Thoth says, like Hitler, are conscious workers in the black arts. I now feel that Hussein's satanic link has been disempowered. Now remember, this is back in 1990. Although as a naturally nasty guy, he can still be a great deal of trouble. His black magician skills have been broken. Thus, he cannot last for long on his own. However, Hussein is more powerful in this regard than was Noriega. There is a whole group around the former who are into the black arts as well, so there may be more clearing to do there. However, my part is done until or unless I receive more instruction from Thoth on the matter. Okay, I wanted to read that because of the Staff of Osiris. Now, this was prior to me receiving the information that I received quite a few years later on the Staffs of Osiris, the cosmic Staffs of Osiris. But I'm just showing you how this comes up again and again. So then it goes into the Logos of the Fifth Lord. A gold cartouche was etherically placed around my neck as Thoth told me that this was the Logos of the Fifth Lord, whose power came through the archetype and emissary of Osiris. I was told by Thoth that this Fifth Lord was returning, and when I asked how, he said, through his seed. Then I was told to open several books, one of which was Serpent in the Sky, The High Wisdom of Ancient Egypt by John Anthony West. I opened it to a part of the book I had not yet read, although I have owned this book for several years. On that page, I read about a chamber in the Temple of Luxor in Egypt. This temple was built to correlate with the initiation centers of the human body. The chamber mentioned on the page I opened to was called the Holy of Holies. To quote from this passage, underlining is mine, well, you won't see that. The sanctuary Schwaller de Lubitz calls the Holy of Holies may be regarded as a germ or seed, whose dimensions, proportions, and symbolism contain in resume the finished product. On the west wall of this sanctuary, which once contained a gold statue of a ram-headed Amun, there are 5 kings, 5 lords, 5 kings, drawn, who each portrayed in the presence alternately of Amun and Min Amun, Amun as fundicating principle. Measuring these kings, Schwaller de Lubitz found them gradually increasing in size. Each king measured exactly 72 digits, the digits being fractions of the different values of cubit, each of which is found upon exact geodesic considerations. The difference between them is determined by the degree of latitude to which the measure pertains. Okay, that's the end of the quote from the High Wisdom of Ancient Egypt. And I continue in my temple doors here. In this information, we find the 5 lords, kings in the chamber of the seed. The 72 is the number of petals, i.e. masters, upon the rose mystica. It was through this chamber that I consequently entered the interdimensional realm in which Osiris gave me his staff, here we go again, with which to pierce the plain of Iraq. I know this is not the end of the connection with the 5th Lord. After the bull-lion statue was split in 2, I saw a princely being, looking exquisite in satin robes and turban. He was distinctly Arabic. I was told that this was one eminence of the 5th Lord, the one which was now free to act within the destiny of Iraq. Thus, the 5th Lord is not just Osiris. It is a multifaceted being, or perhaps consciousness beyond entity form, who has the ability to outpicture within the various culture frames or racial memories. Upon awakening on the morning of September 26, 1990, I found this sentence planted firmly in my mind. And this was the sentence: under the lake of lakes, near the plain of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the Babylonian Noah. Well, I'm not exactly sure he's the Babylonian Noah. He has to do with all of that, but I think it's that's not quite correct. Looking in the Britannica, I found, in those days you couldn't Google. I had to go to the Britannica. Looking in the Britannica, I found that ancient Babylonia occupied southeastern Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, modern southern Iraq from around Baghdad to the Persian Gulf. So I asked Thoth these questions. Did I plant the staff of Osiris on the Lake of Lakes? And Thoth says, it is upon this sacred ground that the holy staff of the fifth Lord, as issued through Osiris, was thrust into the earth by Gilgamesh, another embodiment of the fifth Lord. So you accomplish this etherically by your reenactment, thereby creating movement, the movement of the crystallic grid beneath the Lake of Lakes. And then I asked, the Lake of Lakes is a dry lake bed? So yes, it is. Is it the Lapis Sea channeled by the Emerald Center group? This was a group of people there. The crystallic grid of which you speak? It is. Understand that the word lapis in this context is to be embraced in its ancient usage, as well as the lapis lazuli, the actual mineral vein present in that region. This is the lapis of the philosopher's stone, the gem from the crown of Lucifer, which in mineral content is black tourmaline and emerald. So this goes on and on, but this staff, the staff of Osiris, the staff of the fifth Lord, the holy staff of the fifth Lord, obviously this is a reference to some off-spinning dynamic of the cosmic staffs. Okay, and the staff that was given to Gilgamesh, I believe it was a real object. I believe it was a Djed, some kind of a very specialized Djed, or the Djed were, replicas of the original staff that he's talking about here. So it's all connected, and it's also all connected with taming the beast. The beast of chaos, bringing it into order. Now, chaos is actually, I don't want to demonize it, because chaos, as Thoth has told me, is necessary, in our work, in the whole cosmos. It does things, it does transformational things. It looks threatening to us, but it's a part of the process. However, chaos must lead to order, and if it doesn't lead to order in its due process, then chaos becomes the beast. So the cosmic staffs of Osiris are here to retain order. And any offshoot of them, like the Djed, the physical Djed that they were holding and using, or this staff of the fifth Lord, these are offshoots of that, and these are helpful tools to help center and activate, or focus at least, the energies of the cosmic ones. Okie dokie. Well, I think I'm going to stop here. We could go on and on, but I am going to wind things down and conclude with this video. So thank you all for listening.